What's up, y'all? We got another episode of the NBA 2K14 PS4 draft class, and let's start it off picking it up with towards the end of the E's. Melvin Ejim, Iowa State. Melvin Ejim is a tweener for sure. Has a power forward game, only 6'6" though, so you know that can create a little bit of an issue. But the good thing about it is that he can shoot the jump shot a little bit. This is the best we can do with the visual aspect, so y'all know my plight. I don't have to tell y'all every episode. 6'6", 225, give or take a couple pounds is pretty much where they list him at most places. And like I told you before, I try to get the attire right, even though we can't get the hairstyles and stuff together. So let's move on to the attributes as you see what we got here. Now, Ejim is averaging 18 points a game this season. Iowa State's still alive in the tournament as of Wednesday night. It's still alive in the tournament. The Sweet 16 kicks back off on Thursday. Ejim's grabbing 8.4 rebounds a game, 0.7 blocks, 1.2 steals per game. The thing I notice about him, shoots a good percentage because most of his shots come from right in the paint, right around the basket. But you don't notice him being able to really put the ball on the floor effectively, which kind of worries you in regards to him playing small forward in the NBA. His game is really just very much like a power forward. But I'll give you a name of a guy who, if you look at the way he plays and the way Melvin Ejim plays, you might be able to draw a little bit of a comparison. Carl Landry. Carl Landry's game to me is a little similar to Melvin Ejim. Melvin Ejim has more range on his jump shot though, which is also a help. But I think that's what they always say when you do an NBA comparison. They say what's the ceiling player, so that's like the best they could be, and then what's the floor player. I think the best that Melvin Ejim could be is Carl Landry, which is not a bad player. Carl Landry has done well for himself in the NBA. He gets to the free throw line, and he has a knack for putting the ball in the basket, near the basket. So that is the deal there with the whole attribute thing with Melvin Ejim of Iowa State. So now we're looking at a little bit of the signature stuff here. Boy, I know I keep saying it, but man, I really wish. What is going on with his pants? Look at, what is that going on? That looks like he got on like some, like some women's thigh highs. We don't want him to do that. Keep your shorts down, Melvin. But yeah, the more I look at this, man, it's just like, I just really wish that, you could do a little bit more in terms of, customizing the player. But did Melvin just turn into a small person? Okay, well, we're going to get him off. We're going to get off of it. All right, moving on to the next player on the list. And you see, I got a couple people here. Joel Embiid, we already went over that. I'll keep him at a 75. So that was one of the guys we did in the first one. So in case you might be new to the series, that's what that is. Tyler Ennis. I've been waiting to do this. And a lot of people have been asking, when are you going to do Tyler Ennis? When are you going to do Tyler Ennis? He is one of my favorite players in college basketball right now. Well, he's not playing right anymore because Syracuse got eliminated already. And that was probably his last game because his stock is pretty decently high, I would say. Probably if he's not the #1 point guard prospect in the nation, he is definitely right there. It just depends on what your what your opinion of Marcus Smart is. But he got OKC tattooed on his left arm. We don't cover that up. We just need to get like a wristband or something. I don't know. Why would you give that as a random tattoo to a creative player? I don't understand why they would do that. Anyway, but yeah, this is Tyler Ennis. Tyler Ennis, to me, the best comparison that I can give you for Tyler Ennis is, imagine if Andre Miller was a slightly better athlete, but still played as smart as he plays, as mistake-free for the most part, and the clutch gene that he possesses. That, to me, is Tyler Ennis. 36 minutes a game, 13 points a game. His field goal percentage was a little bit low, about 41%. And I think the reason that his field goal percentage was that low is because Syracuse, aside from Trevor Cooney, really lacked outside shooters. So I think he ended up having to take a lot more of the offense on than what he would have liked or what would have been ideal. So I think that's what happened. He shot about 35% from three-point range, 76.5% from free throw, 5.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, 2 steals. One thing though that you might want to take a look at. Now I didn't really include this in the statistic drop. As you see, I gave him 3 signature skills: the dimer, the alley-ooper, and the interceptor for being able to jump into the passing lanes. But check this out. As a freshman, Tyler Ennis, I also gave him the personality badge of floor general. As a freshman, his assist to turnover ratio is 3.2. Any assist to turnover ratio, especially in college, of like 2.7 and higher for a point guard is pretty doggone good. But 3.2 assist to turnover ratio, and if you factor in the fact that he only really averaged 5.5 assists a game, which is a good amount of assists. But that just shows you. Now this is a dude playing point guard, playing 36 minutes a game, and he's only averaging 1.7 turnovers a game. That just shows you how well he takes care of the ball. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I gave him such a good rating. That and his ability to make clutch shots and just run the offense. That's the reason why I rated him so high. So if y'all want to know why Tyler Ennis is a 77, because he's a point guard, a freshman point guard, who is an absolute floor general. And it is very hard to find that on a player that young. So I am mad impressed with Tyler Ennis. And yeah, that's for sure. So here we go, taking a look at this. What is he just like had an attack in the air? I don't know if I guess whatever. We're gonna keep it. Don't contest his shot. He goes into some type of conniption. But yeah, that's what that's my opinion with him, man. I think this guy is gonna be a I don't think he's gonna be like a superstar in the NBA, but I think he's going to be a rock solid starter for, I'm talking about 8 to 10 years. That's what I think. You know, maybe an all-star game or 2 or something like that. But, you know, I'm not saying like you got the next Chris Paul or nothing like that. But, you know, what he has a Carmelo Anthony handshake. I don't think I wanted that. We don't want nothing. So that's it for Tyler Ennis. Let's move it to the next guy. And so Dante Exum, we went over that. I don't know if I told y'all, but I did bump Dante Exum up a little bit. I watched a little bit more from him. The kid got a sick first step. That first step is kind of nasty. You can't deny that. So I bumped him up a little bit there. So I did like that. This might as well be like the Syracuse episode, because there's a lot of Syracuse guys here. It just so happened to fall that way because of the alphabetical order thing. And I ran out of guys with headbands. So CJ Fair does not have his headband, but here he is, slashing. That's definitely how I would describe his game. He is a lefty as well, so got to make sure we get that in there. 6'7", 220, good size for the small forward, right? Problem with CJ Fair's game is this: he does not create his own shot very well. So it's weird. He's a slasher, and decent mid-range jump shot shooter. But I do like the fact that he's a good athlete, physically strong, you know, can go to the basket and I think finish with some contact. And I think he has the ability to be a really, really good on-ball defender. I got an NBA comparison for you for CJ Fair. Some Syracuse fans might not like it, but I'm thinking Ronnie Brewer. Ronnie Brewer, a left-handed Ronnie Brewer is what I see with CJ Fair. Similar physical build. Both of them are better than average athletes. CJ Fair, I'm telling you, he has the ability to be a really, really good on-ball defender. It's just very similar to Ronnie Brewer, but Ronnie Brewer lacks that touch to really be a really solid jump shot shooter. And I think CJ Fair might fall into that same category. Now you might be looking at the stat that I put up and, you know, looking at the fact that Fair shot like 47% from 3-point range. last year, not this past season, but last year. But you got to look at the volume of shots. He only took 64 threes that season. So if you only take 64 threes, yeah, you made 30, and that's a really high percentage. But you got to look, when you're looking at how well a guy shoots, you got to look at the volume, of course, because the more threes you shoot, the more chance your percentage goes down. So I took that into consideration. But there is no doubt Fair will dunk you. He will dunk you. So we had to represent there. Likes to go to the basket hard. Yeah, the deeper I get in this draft class, the more I'm looking forward to like just actually seeing the guys on their teams and stuff. I think it's gonna be kind of cool. Got a little bit of a nice little plan I'm gonna do too with a series. I can't wait. That's why because I told y'all I'm doing it, but that's another reason why I just can't wait to get through. You know what I mean? I can't wait to get through so I can get to my stuff that I want to get to. But yeah, so man, I'm excited. I really also wish I could have gave CJ Fair a headband, but you know, it is what it is. Let's look at these dunks though, because I kind of hooked them up a little bit with the dunks. Boom with that left hand. Boom with two hands. Boom with two hands. Boom with that left. Boom. No, that ain't a boom. That's just two-hand dunk. And then from the vertical, and then the reverse. That'll finish me. That'll do it. All right, that's CJ Fair. Let's move on. Who we got next? Aaron Gordon we already did. I did not bump him up. Still staying at the 69. Remember, y'all, potential. This is a draft class. So this is meant for you to play more than one season. So this is potential. His potential is very high. But right now I got him at a 69. Gonna keep him there. Jeremy Grant. Syracuse again. Now, how many people know Jeremy Grant is Horace Grant's nephew, Harvey Grant's son? Did y'all know that? Do you even know who Horace Grant and Harvey Grant is? Hey, that's who he is. Very long, athletic, small forward. He has a power forward's game, though. I hesitate to call him a tweener. And the only reason I hesitate to call him a tweener is because the length of his arms, which I tried to represent here, this dude has a sick wingspan, right? So because of the length of his arms, he's able to play much bigger than he actually is. So that's why I hesitate to call him a tweener the way I called Melvin Ejim a tweener, because Melvin Ejim doesn't have that arm length that Jeremy Grant has, so he may not be able to impact the game close to the basket the same way, but I think Grant can. You know, one thing that kind of surprised me though with Jeremy Grant is that he didn't block more shots. He only blocked 0.6 shots a game, only got 0.8 steals a game for Syracuse. Perhaps it's because of where he fell in Syracuse's matchup zone, but that was it. Didn't shoot, or I don't think he shot a three-pointer this year. I don't even think he shot one. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. He shot 5. He missed them all this year. So he made 6 out of 15 as a freshman, but took 5 and missed every one of them this year. Also a 67% free throw shooter, which is not great. Most of his shots come around the basket, and he's 49.6% shooter from around the basket, so it's okay. I really just, the length. His length is awesome. As a impact guy around the basket, catching alley-oops, dunking on people, and just more or less just finishing close to the basket. I really liked his game there. I think he has the ability to be a decent post player at the 3 and a disruptive defender with his length and athleticism on the perimeter. So he's a kind of a strange kind of a player in that way. I contemplated dropping his rating a little bit, but it's hard to find a draft board out there that doesn't have him like in the first 18, 19 picks. So he's very highly touted because of the length and the athleticism. Maybe part of it is about the NFL, the NBA pedigree as well. So that could have something to do with it. But nonetheless, I do think he's a decent prospect. He needs another year of school though. He really does, to develop a jump shot. Getting him a jump shot would change like almost everything. If he could knock down the jump shot consistently, it would change almost everything. He would become one of the best prospects in the nation if he could knock down jump shots, because that length and that athleticism is already something. If you give him a jump shot, it's gonna be, yeah, he's gonna be something else. But doesn't have it yet, and more than likely he's probably gonna come out. So he'll just have to make do with what he has. Let's take a look at these dunks, though. Yeah, we got that Tim Duncan layup. But look at the front clutch slam. We got the basic two-handers off 1 foot, athletic side tomahawk, then the baseline reverse off 2, the hang off 1, basic big man off 1, baseline reverse off 1. That's one of my favorite dunks. Big man basic off 2, basic two-handers off 2. See, I try not to get too crazy with the dunks. You know, I don't want to give nobody, like, you know, where they doing a 720 up in there. You know, come on, I wanted to play. You know what I'm saying? I tell y'all this all the time. I wanted to play realistic. So let's move into the last guy of this episode, which is PJ Hairston. Yeah, that looked like Tristan Thompson, but you know. But PJ Hairston is an interesting prospect in a lot of ways. Of course, you may or may not know, he spent, I think, 2 seasons in North Carolina, got dismissed from the team, and went directly to the D-League. And started lighting it up. This dude can score. Flat out, point blank, simple. He can put it in the basket, okay? That's what you know for sure. And in the D-League, as you see here, he's averaging 21 a game in the D-League. So some people might be like, well, what do I look at mostly? Should I look at what he did in college or look at what he did in the D-League? I would say that the D-League statistics are more of a representation of what you could possibly expect from him. Now, that said, I mean, wow, you got to really like what he's bringing to the table. Only shooting about 45% from the field, but, I mean, come on. 34% from three-point range. That could be higher. He's an 86.7% free throw shooter, which is excellent because he's a physical point guard. He's not a great or explosive athlete, but he's good at drawing contact, using his body to get the ball up. He can shoot off the dribble, which is huge. Not just a spot-up guy, even though he is a very good spot-up shooter, which is why I gave him the catch and shoot as well as the shot creator. But he is very good going off the dribble, going to the basket. Now, because he doesn't explode, he has a little bit of an issue finishing over bigger guys. So that's the one thing that, you know, scouts might be worried about with him on the next level. Is he going to be able to explode and finish against bigger guys and longer athletes like the guys that you see every night in the NBA? So that's a question. But even if he can't, his jump shot and step back moves and jab steps and the whole triple threat game is tight enough that he can be a really formidable scorer for a team just off of his perimeter skills. I think if you look at PJ Hairston as a 6-man, come off your bench with some instant offense, a la Jamal Crawford, not saying that I compare him to Jamal Crawford, like his game, not his playing style or whatever, but the impact, the potential impact that he could have could be similar to that. I don't know if the other parts of his game warrant him being like a starting 2-guard, but I think as a 6-man, PJ Hairston could be that business. So he's an interesting prospect to me. I mean, how many guys are out here averaging 21 points a game in the D-League on their way into the NBA? So that's intriguing in itself. So we'll see what he's able to do. But that does it for this episode of the draft class. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a preview, which is something that I normally don't do, of what, like, the guys that are coming next. I'll let you know, too, I'm adding people a little bit here and there, too. So I went back and I added a couple guys who I hadn't had in as of yet. Somebody asked me about Akil Carr, but I hadn't put him in yet, but I may add him in. I don't think he's going to get drafted, though, but I may add him in. But up next, Montrezl Harrell. And don't pay attention to the height and weight and all that stuff because it's not right yet. I haven't changed that yet. Like I'm telling everybody, I'm not quite done. Gary Harris, we did already, so that's going to be the same. But the Harrison twins, Andrew Harrison and Aaron Hairston. Tried to make them look as much, tried to get the guys to look as much like twins as possible. So we went with them. Rodney Hood, we already put him in. So we got Corey Jefferson for Baylor. He and Isaiah Austin are doing business right now in the NCAA tournament. I actually picked them to beat Wisconsin, so we'll see what happens. So we got Rail, the Harrison twins, Corey Jefferson, and one more guy, Arizona's Nick Johnson. Really like his game too. So those are guys that are next. Like I said, don't pay attention to the ratings, heights, weights, schools, ages. Just the faces and the names is what I've put in there. So I guess that's why a lot of people felt like the draft class was finished, because they went and they saw all the names and the faces. But if you pay attention to the other thing, you'll see not quite done. But that'll do it, y'all. I appreciate you watching. You know, you might notice these videos are getting a little bit longer, and that's because I'm doing them live commentary. And so it's, even though the video's longer, I'm able to turn them out faster. So that's the idea there. But y'all subscribe, follow. Peace.